We have been absolutely rocking and rolling with our lock of the night play over the last several weeks. This past weekend, we were able to cash on Vinicius Lock Dog Oliveira. I got him in around that minus 170 range, but a lot of action on Kyler Phillips. I actually brought him down closer to minus 140 by fight time. And I was lucky, or I guess not lucky. I got reverse CLV there, but I was still happy to go out there and cash that ticket. And again, sometimes CLV goes in your favor, sometimes it doesn't, and you're still able to cash these tickets. And that's where I'm hoping to continue with this run and continue to improve that accuracy, especially for our 2025 run, which now improves to 37 and 23 for minus 0.68 units, pretty much in the black, minus 1% ROI, a far cry from the minus 45 units that we were at earlier this year, showing that I can really tune things in and get these tickets to cash for us. I still have a 50 unit goal for the year in terms of lock of the night plays. Now I got about 4 or 5 months to try to get it done with. Again, I'm not going to change course or anything or try to get too reckless here to try to make up that number, but I'm going to do my best in terms of getting as close to it as I can. And again, further into this run, it's 12 straight lock of the night plays that we've hit now, and that's over the course of not just the UFC, but all the other regional promotions I cover as well, and that's 15-1 over our last 16 lock of the night plays. So if you guys have been tailing your boy, you're more than likely cashing out heavy right now, especially with the lock of the night plays. And I believe we've hit 11 straight events as well in terms of profiting events. So very happy about that. For those of you interested in the tale of the studio in the background, the blinds are in. The blinds for that giant window across from me are finally in. I just got them right before I hit play or record for this segment here, and hopefully that's up over the next day or two. And by the ending of the week, you guys should be able to see the studio the way I want it to be, maybe with a few minor things, but in terms of lighting, the quality, and everything, it should all be on track, hopefully by the ending of the week. So we're finally there, pretty much there. And I'm very happy about it because I hate this grainy look that the lack of lighting is providing for these segments that I'm doing. So enough about that. I'm sure some of you guys are just here like, shut up, get to the lock of the night plays. But I like to keep some of my viewers up to date with what your boy's been up to doing, and obviously the progress of the studio itself. All right, let's get right into a reminder. This is the top 3 candidates. Top 3 lock of the night candidates. Not saying that each one of these is a lock of the night play, but only one of them can be the official lock of the night play, which I've already dropped on the lock of the night Patreon page, which you can find in the link in the description below. So let's get right into it. The first candidate up is going to be the Ibo Aslan and Billy Alicana fight to go under 1.5 rounds, which currently sits at that minus 120 line. I think this is a fantastic line for two guys that are capable of going out there and finishing each other pretty quickly, but it's usually that Ibo Aslan side that often leads to fights finishing early, and I think he's going to bring that out of Alicana here, whether it's Aslan flatlining Alicana early and getting that first round finish, just as he has done pretty much in every single one of his victories, or he ends up getting taken down and submitted by Alicana, who has made a very big conceded effort to improve that BJJ aspect in his game, just as we saw when he took down Bogdan Guskov in the opening seconds of his short notice UFC debut. And I think we'll see a better and more dominant version of him this time around, leading to him getting that submission and sinking in the choke. Either Aslan gets that round 1 knockout or Alicana gets the submission. I think the under 1.5 should be pure money here. And if you're like an Aslan, he's minus 250 on the money line, you can get him to win under 1.5 rounds at minus 120, or just under 1.5 straight up at minus 120, because that probably covers his win condition here, as things might start to get slow for him later on in the matchup. I know Ali kind of gassed against Guskov, but that was a short notice matchup, and I expect him to be prepared for 15 minutes if he needs it, which means he'll likely be more effective should this fight leak into the second and third rounds. But I still think this fight does not go past that first round. Definitely doesn't go past the 7.5 minute mark. Hence why I would consider it as a lock of the night candidate. The second lock of the night candidate is going to be Nikita Krylov, coming in at minus 190 as he goes up against the aforementioned Bogdan Guskov. Now, Guskov lost his first UFC matchup by getting submitted by a striker like Volkan Oezdemir, and he has been grinded out for some rounds takedowns against guys like Billy Alicana and even Ryan Spann. But Nikita Krylov can keep that high pace and high smothering pressure with his grappling and wrestling, and I expect that to come through relatively easily here as he keeps Guskov in bad positions, keeps him on his back, keeps him pushed up against the cage, and keeps him away from landing those big power shots for which he is known for. I think that Krylov easily wins this matchup, grinding it out, winning it on the scorecards, maybe getting a late submission as well. But at minus 190, he's more than worthy of being considered as a lock of the night candidate. The third and final lock of the night candidate may not be all that popular, but I feel like this is one of those spots where people are overlooking the Reaper, Robert Whittaker, as he comes in at minus 140, and we've seen this line really start to decline, meaning a lot of people are jumping on the DeRidder side. When I first researched this matchup, I think Whittaker was closer to that minus 200 range, now down at minus 140. I think a lot of people are expecting DeRidder to replicate what Khamzat Chimaev was able to do to Whittaker. The issue, I think that Whittaker can stay away from the grappling of DeRidder. Chimaev, a lot more difficult to deal with. Obviously, a very strong, has that nasty clamp with that submission game that he has as well. Obviously, DeRidder very nasty with his jiu-jitsu game as well, but I think he's going to struggle in terms of closing the distance, dealing with that footwork of movement and speed advantage of Whittaker. And I think we'll see Whittaker constantly landing shots straight down the pipe, fending off the takedowns, staying away from the clinch game, and then eventually knocking out DeRidder within rounds 2, 3, or 4 as DeRidder starts to slow down and realize that, hey, I may not have what it takes to get this guy to the ground and get to my BJJ game. And if he tries to take that striking approach like he did against Bo Nickel, he will pay dearly for it, as Whittaker is a far superior striker and counter striker than Bo Nickel was. So I think this is a y'all must have forgot moment for Whittaker. Even when he fought Ikram Aliaskarov last year, he was not as big of a favorite as I thought he should have been, and we're able to clip those lines pretty easily there. I'm hoping this is the same thing where recency bias is giving us a great line on Whittaker, and I think he has the chops of making it look lock of the night dominant as well. Hence why I would put him as the third and final lock of the night candidate. Last thing I want to say here, some people will be like, hey, why didn't you throw Damon Blackshear, Piotr Jan, Carlos Leal into this segment? I'm trying to get bettable lines, matching up confidence with odds and trying to make it something that you guys can play straight. That is my number one objective. There are going to be segments where I might have to throw in somebody that's minus 350 or minus 400 because there aren't odds that are good enough mixed up with my confidence that I'd be willing to put onto a segment like this. So in this case, that's the reason why Blackshear and Leal and those guys are not on this segment. I feel like these spots are more bettable for the lines that they're at, and my confidence mixed in with them would make me consider them as a lock of the night candidate. Again, the folks on the MMA LOTN Patreon page already know who it is and what it is, so make sure you guys check the link in the description below. Otherwise, try to guess it in the comment section. Let me know what your lock of the night play is, and we'll see if we can end up hitting that this weekend. All right, it is a double header today. Later today, I'll be dropping my chalk or not segment for UFC Abu Dhabi. See you guys then. Peace.